You may notice when you're getting ready to print that the page is not breaking where you want it. It may lay out fine, but you may want to be separating pieces of information on different pages. So you can insert page breaks, and we'll show you how to do that. Also, there are times when you have titles, like column headers or row headers, that you're going to want on every sheet because it defines what the information is that they're looking at. So I'm going to give you an example of that and how to fix that. So this particular worksheet, it's a source of project costs. It has sections: project design, development, delivery, management, other costs, and then a subtotal section here. Okay, so all of these are on the worksheet, and when we go to File, Print, this is looking good. It's starting to lay out really well. We've got our titles here. This is a good row for titles. But down here, it's starting to cut off this section at the bottom. So I'm going to go to the next page, and it picks up the rest of it, but it did cut that information off. Okay, so let's say that as we want to go print this, we want to make sure, one, that green section is not cut off. Okay, and as far as subtotals and so forth, we may want to separate that onto the final page. Okay, so first things first, when you want to create a page break, let's say our first one needs to come after project delivery. Okay, you go to the page layout tab, and there is this item here in the page setup called breaks, and it tells you add a break where you want the next page to begin in the printed copy. Then it says your page break will be inserted above and to the left of your selection. Okay, so to the left is referring to the column, okay, and above is referring to the row. So if I want this row to be my page break, it's going to break everything above it. So this on up, row 25 and up, would be on the, in this case, the first page, and then row 26 and down will be where the next page break is. Okay, so I'm going to do insert page break. So back to the breaks option and insert page break. Now it doesn't do anything. I wish it would, but you don't see any markers here. Okay, but I'll show you where you can go to verify that in just a moment. And then we wanted to do another break here, and we'll do break, insert page break. Okay, now a couple ways to verify this. The long way would be to go to File, Print, and then you can see how it lays out. So that's nice. You go to the next page, and we did, separate those two items, sections out, and then there's the third page. Okay, now another way you can do this is, on your View tab, there is Page Break Preview. Okay, and it will show you what's on page 1, what's on page 2, and what's on page 3 by looking at your worksheet. That button is also down here at the bottom right, just to the left of the zoom control. Okay, so that's the Page Break Preview. All right. Now, if you'll notice, one of the things that's going on is row 4 has, the tasks, labor hours, labor costs, all of those pieces are in there. And by the way, you can zoom in on this. You don't have to stay that far out. But on page 2, those titles are gone, and definitely on page 3, they're not there as well. So what we want to do is we want to tell Excel that we want this row as titles to be printed on every page. Okay, so this is a section again in page layout, page setup, print titles. Now I've selected it, but it's not going to remember it. I'm going to click on print titles, and you come into page setup sheet, and what we want, it says print titles, rows to repeat at top, columns to repeat at left. Well, in this workbook, we don't have any columns to repeat, but you may have some information going down the left-hand side versus across the top, or you may have both. So how does this work? How do I get this row 4, to repeat at top? Well, one thing you can do is this red, white, and blue button at the very end of that row. Just click on that, and it puts you into the page, and you're going to click on the row number, row 4, and it picks up that information right here. Now, if it was multiple rows, you can drag select, you can drag through multiple rows, and it will put it on there. Remember, if it's a column, you'd click on the column name, the letter, and again, you can drag across several columns and it will pick that up for the column section. So now that you've selected it, just clicked on row 4. Down here, not down here, over here to the right is that red, white, and blue button. Just looks a little bit different. Click on that. And that's captured. That's what you want. You want it to repeat row 4. So I click OK. All right. Now let's go look at our finished product. So let's go to File, Print. And this is the same. We didn't really do anything different with this. But on page 2, now we have our titles coming across. There we go. And then on page 3, it comes across as well. So when people are looking at this information, they're not having to flip back to page 1 to figure out what this column is for. It's right there on each page for them. So as you go to print, it's a smart thing to do to think about who your audience is, what they're going to be looking at, and make sure that it's clearly defined when they're looking at your prints. So that was putting in page breaks and making sure titles are printed on each page.